Hello everyone, we have another video finally of the AP AMX 30, the Tier 8 Marathon Premium that I'm sure you've seen 9 videos on by now. However, we're just going to talk about it today and kind of give a little rundown of it, what I think about it, whether it's worth your time, because it is a marathon and in a typical wargaming fashion, it will take a lot of your time. So let's get right into it here with some statistics about the vehicle. A base with no crew, no modifiers. You're looking at just shy of 1900 DPM. You're looking at 300 alpha, 232 base pen, which is actually quite nice at tier 8. A 9.5 second reload, 0.35 dispersion, 2.4 second aim time. So this thing really comes across to me as you don't want to be necessarily super in their face because the lowish alpha. However, you also can't be too far away because 0.35 dispersion base is not great. Now, you can augment that a little bit. I'll get into my build and what I run on it just in a moment. Now, the other thing is that kind of changes that playstyle a bit is that the hull armor is 60 millimeters in the front, 40 on the side, 30 in the rear. The turret is 150 on the front, 40 on the sides, 30 in the rear. Now, this thing, in regards to that armor profile, is very, very French. So, a lot of the angles are very, angled, I should say. Where the upper plate, yes, it's only 60, but you will ricochet quite a bit, provided that you are playing that ridgeline. Now, what allows you to play those ridgelines and make those angles so steep is the benefit of, I think it's 11 degrees gun depression with 15 elevation. So, you really can play a lot of ridgelines, and I think that's where this thing succeeds, at its peak, where you're not sitting necessarily too far back, but you're not necessarily on that front line consistently. You're able to, hide yourself as much as you can on that ridgeline, poke when you need to deal damage, pull back when you can't just sit there, because you're not a Kronbong, right? You're not going to sit there and be impervious to basically anything shooting at you. This thing also has 1250 HP, so, pretty middle of the pack, I think, for a tier 8 medium. One more thing about the turret as well that I feel like I should mention. It's only around the gun mallet you're really going to get a nice amount of blocking. That, changes to like 300 plus millimeters thick mallet, whereas anywhere around the mallet, below it, to the left and right of it, is still 150, even using 11 degrees of gun depression. So it's still, I know people groan at the thought of another, ridgeline warrior. I get it. I get frustrated with it as well. But this one is definitely on the lesser egregious side, at least in my opinion. Now, as far as the build I run for it here, I get my DPM up from just under 1900 to just under 2400. I run vents, gun rammer, vertical stabilizer. I also run food, brothers in arms, situational awareness, all that stuff, right? So that brings the reload down to 7.6 seconds, which isn't terrible. 0.31 dispersion, which again isn't terrible. It's not ideal. I think Wargaming classes this as a sniper, and I just don't feel like it fits that role. In any super significant way, it can do it, but I think it really, again, whenever you can abuse a ridgeline is really where this thing comes into its own, in my personal opinion. 2.1 second aim time, well, almost 2.2, I should say. And we get the view range. Oh, I should have mentioned that before. My apologies. It's a base view range of, I think, 380. 280, good lord, could you imagine? 380 base, and I have mine up to 442. Again, with all those bonuses and boosts before, food, brothers in arms, whatever. Now, you can opt to drop vents for optics. That's more than viable. Feel free if you really want to push that V range. That's typically what I'm going to do when I decide to try and 3-mark this. It makes the most sense. Now, as far as why I chose this game and why you're watching a game that I played pretty well, I think we end up with, another 2,000 damage, whatever it is because I played 5 games before this, and I'll show you those, I think, at the end of the game, or at the end of the video or something, where game after game, I was averaging 1,500 damage. So I just wanted to mention that, frankly, well, I guess we'll get into this now, what I think about the vehicle. As you just heard, the last 5 games I played before I got this match for the video was I had one 3K game, 2 like 1,500 damage games, and I think, you know, the rest were around 2K. And I figured that it was worth showing you basically where the tank excels, as opposed to all the other games, you know, kind of just being nothing, you know, not really of any use. Where I figured you'd want to see. By the way, you can see the 2 bounces there, where the upper plate again is so angled, so pulling back on that ridge, even though it's only 60 millimeters thick, forces some bounces there, so it's quite nice in that regard. But I figured I'd show you again, kind of where the tank excels, so you can see what job it does and where it really comes into its own, as opposed to, you know, me just trying to figure that out in the beginning. So, for, I guess, getting back to where we were a minute ago, what do I think about it? In my opinion, I don't think I'd be upset if I missed it. I mean, it's some variety. It's cool, I guess. Again, that 300 alpha, 232 base pen, it's not something you're going to need to fire gold in super heavily. I choose to, because the extra velocity feels nice, makes the gun feel more responsive. But, I don't know, as far as a premium, it's fine. I would rate it maybe a 6 out of 10. I don't think if you miss it, you're missing out on anything massive. This is not another Skoda T56 scenario, I could promise you that. So you don't have to worry about, you know, missing out on potentially the best tier 8 premium in the game. This is very much a middle of the pack. It's interesting, it's not terrible, it's nothing insane either. So I do hope you guys at least found this video somewhat informative and useful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know so I can make these maybe a bit better in the future. But for now, that's probably the entirety of the tank. I don't think I forgot anything. The benefit of staying to the end of the video, though, is you'll see me mount this T95, which is kind of cool. But outside of that, I won't hold you guys up anymore. Please, excuse me, please feel free to join the stream. It should be on later. I'll be playing this probably all night. And then I look forward to making more videos about the upcoming events with Christmas and all that stuff. So have a good one. I'll see you guys next time.